did. Oh, hey guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to a stream and a new chapter on a new series working on this guy right there. That's a 1/48 scale Su-57. That's a model kit made by Zvezda, Russian company, for a Russian plane. We're gonna run the intro. We'll get right into it, okay? Okay guys, we're back. We are back and we're going to get started on this. You guys might be wondering, you guys who watch my channel, you probably wonder, didn't you already do a series on the Su-57? And the answer, of course, is yes, I did. But this is going to be painted different. This is a little bit different. I'm doing this for somebody asked me to build this for them, and so that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be basically doing, this is kind of going to be a little bit different of a series. If you want to see the full build, check the description box below. We'll put a link to that particular play series of where I first built this plane. So this is actually the second time I'm building it. But the paint scheme is going to be different. We have, you know, the kit comes with the assumption that you're going to be doing this paint scheme on it. We got both the colors that this plane originally came in back when they called it the, what did they call it, the K50 or the T50, I think was the first time when they first developed this plane. I think they called it the T50, and then of course they eventually came up with the Su-57, Sukhoi, Su short for Sukhoi, and then 57 is the actual designation. Why 57? Well, as they like to say, you take the F-22, you take the F-35, you put them together, and this plane is still better. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, but we're not going to be doing this digital pattern. We're going to be doing a splinter pattern. Splinter camo is what I'm going to be doing on this one. And so I'll go through the sprues, you know, just like I normally do. I've already opened the box. I've taken the sprues out of the bags. So we'll go through and I'll show you guys what you get in the box. Again, here's the big box it comes in. Fuselage is in 2 halves, just like this. Okay, this is nice. We get 2 halves of a fuselage. A little bit of bracing in there because you do have some big open holes in the bottom there. But, you know, the detail is nice. It's a Zvezda kit. I would say it looks pretty good. Zvezda does pretty good, obviously, with their Russian planes. We've got 2 sprues. They're a little bit stuck together, but this one here is, we've got our, looks like our missiles and maybe a fuel tank. I forget if it's a fuel tank or an actual missile. We've got jet nozzles. We actually get a couple of extras because we get 2 sprues that are exactly the same, and they've put both nozzles on both, so you actually get 4 engine nozzles. Yeah, you get 4. The wheels are in 2 halves. That's the main landing gear ones, the great big ones. You know, Russians really put some hefty landing gear on their planes. Really thick stuff. I'm gonna have to message the guy on how he wants this displayed. If he wants this to be displayed with landing gear down or up with a pilot in it, what he wants. Anyway, we have this sprue. These are our intake runners. This is basically the weapon bay doors. If you want to have it displayed closed, you have the options with this. This is kind of nice in that they do this. There are weapon bays, our landing gear bay. You can have it all closed if you want to have it closed up, and it's nice and tight and fits. Why they have this rectangular section that goes on the top of the fuselage and along the, I guess I'll call it the spine. They have this big rectangle here. For whatever reason, they have this open, and you can see it was obviously attached to be some sprue, but why they did that, I don't know. but I imagine it's something in the manufacturing process that I have no clue about, would be my first guess. So, that being said, we have our control surface sprues. That's what I'm going to call it. Control surfaces. We have our wings, tail fins, stuff like that. I think we've got a little bit of a ladder that we can actually assemble a ladder for the plane. That's kind of nice. Yes, we've got another piece for the ladder here. So we get the ladder you can actually attach to the cockpit, and that's really nice. That's a cool little feature you don't see in very many kits. More landing gear pieces. Basic stuff, right? Landing gear bay doors for the main gear. Yeah, that's that one. One final sprue. We have our more missiles, and we have our open weapon bay doors if you want to have it displayed open, stuff like that. So that's about it, and that's all you get. Oh, you get a clear sprue. I also get a little bit of something extra in the bottom here. I don't know what that is, but we got our clear canopy sprue. I don't remember if I have to clean up the canopy at all, if it's got a parting line or not. I don't think it does, but we're gonna check. We're gonna have a check. Let's open this bag and have a look. No parting line along the canopy, so that's nice. We don't have to worry about cleaning up a parting seam on the canopy. It's just a nice, smooth, clear glass. Very nice. I will keep them in the bag just because we don't need them for quite a while. So we'll keep them in the bag just to, keep dust off of them, any overspray, something like that. We get another little bag that comes in the kit. We get our decals, all of our Russian decals, and we get all of our big, it's kind of hard to see on the camera. Let me take it out of the bag so maybe you can see a little better. Our templates for all the markings that go on the top, all the little red lines that are on the top of these planes. I think for all the designations where you can walk or not. These are big stencils. This is one big decal right here. It's going to go on the wing. That's one big decal, and then this one's one big decal here. I can see it when I get it and shine it in the right light. You might be able to see a little bit. You get an idea of how big these decals are. If you get it in the right light, you can kind of see the carrier film and how it all lines up. Kind of like that, right about there. Yeah, see, huge decals. Which they're when I built this plane the first time, I really didn't have any issues with them. A lot of times when you got big decals, you run into these issues with like bubbles and air pockets and stuff like that. I don't remember having very many issues at all with this kit. So our decals are going to go on the bottom because basically we don't need them. So this particular series, I'm not really going to be focusing on showing every aspect of the build. Because like I said, I have built this plane before, and we don't really need to go through every single detail this time around, because the main difference really is just going to be how I paint it as far as camouflage goes. The rest of it's going to be pretty much the same as what I did before. Okay. In fact, I haven't even opened the instructions yet. I haven't even opened to page 1. So let's change the camera just so it's a little bit bigger on the screen, and we'll take a look here. Okay. Su-57, Russian 5th generation fighter. There are options that you can buy. I guess they make a base that you could have this displayed up like this. Does not come in the kit. And so I don't even know where I would buy that. I imagine I'd just have to search for a Su-57 or maybe a Zvezda display. And then of course this one shows the ladder that comes in the kit, so you can have it displayed like this. So like I said, this big base does not come in the kit. So it looks like they are pointing out here, catalog number 7235 would be the base for this if you want to have it displayed like that. And like I said, I haven't gone over with the guy who asked me to build this for him. I haven't asked him how he wants it displayed. Okay, so first page shows you all what should be in the kit, all your sprues that should come in it. You're going to start with the ejector seat and start doing the cockpit like just about every single plane build. Okay. And then you start building your weapon bays and how you're going to assemble it all. Get that main weapon bay that goes through the center of the plane. And of course doing our air intakes. So this is what I like to do. There is usually a color call out on the instructions on what color everything is supposed to be. So I need to find what page that's on. It doesn't appear to be telling me what color all of these are. It just gives me the numbers. So that tells me it's on a separate sheet. It might be on this sheet here. Yes, it is. The colors used. We've got our list right here. Okay. So this is what I like to do. I like to grab a pen and I go through the whole book. Go through the whole book. So 20 is supposed to be flat black. So I'll go flat black, just like that. And I see something else. Number 12 is red. 20, of course, I'll just kind of draw lines also there. Number 30 is light gray. I'll go light gray. Okay. 17. I don't know if we're going to be doing the pilot or not, so I'm not going to focus on him. What else we got? This is also flat black. Let's go black. That's more pilot stuff. Don't have to worry about that. What is this? 20, of course, is black, so it's black. I like to do this and go through the whole book, so I'm not farting around trying to figure out what color everything's supposed to be while I'm doing this. This is steel, number 7. 17 is white. 30 was, what was 30? Light gray. Light gray. And then 17 was white. WHT for white. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys, if I'm clearing my throat a lot. I'm kind of getting over a little bit of a cold. So again, 30 light gray. Light gray. What a difference from American aircraft, eh? Light gray on your intakes and not white. All is light gray. Very different. Same with their landing gear on these planes. Landing gear is usually that weird color green. I think, anyway. And of course our engine nozzles, or exhaust nozzles, whatever you want to call them, they're always those funny colors. It's not like the Su-57 where you basically got a rainbow of colors. Number 8, blue steel. Blue steel. 7 is just regular steel. And 8 again, blue steel. Blue steel. I'm going to look at reference photos and see, and I'm going to try and match up what these are supposed to really look like. Same thing here, right? Same with these. Steel and blue. That kind of stuff, okay? Anything else? What else we got here? We have a little, I'm guessing it's a marker light. Number 5. Maybe not. It's just silver. Silver. Next page. Oh, we got a one underneath here too. That's also silver. Another silver piece. This is your this is the almost like signature Russian radar, that great big thing that sits on the nose just in front of the cockpit on all their planes. And here we go. Our landing gear number 6 is aluminum. Aluminum. And number 5 silver. I thought they were green. I thought the other stuff was green. Number 30 was light gray. So their landing gear's all light gray. 30, yeah, all the pieces. And we got their parts that are going to be chrome. Number 5. They're telling you to paint it silver, but really that's like the ram of the shock absorber. You know, you have a shock, you've got your basic, the body of the shock, and then you've got that bright chrome rod that goes through there. They call that a ram, okay? And it goes inside, and that gets constant polishing on it, and that's why they look chrome. And so you got that on there, and so we're going to replicate that chrome on there. And so do all that for this parts here. Alright, so that's that. Anything here? 30. This is all going to be light gray. Light gray. Sometimes I can't spell right when I'm writing because I'm doing it fast. 6, of course, is rubber black. Rubber. I'm going to call that rubber, even though they're just saying. Number 6. They're calling it aluminum, but for the middle. But yeah. What else we got? 30. Again, the insides of the doors, unlike American aircraft that are all white, these guys are light gray. Are you sensing a theme here? Light gray. Yeah, me too. This looks like our fuel tank here. And what color do we want our fuel tank? Fuel tank is going to be white. This particular missile, number 17, is white. That makes things simple. Except for the little fins that are on it, number 7, those are steel. Anything else we got calling out here? Number 30, this particular thing, I think it's some kind of a radar jammer, maybe. That is number 30, light gray. And this one's 17. 17 was white. All right. Excuse me. Anything else? Our big long missiles. These are the big massive missiles. There's 2 of them on this plane. Number 8. Number 8 is blue steel. Blue steel. And then we've got our different ordnance that you want to do, your the model armament versions, whatever you'd like. And then of course we have they show the assembly of the ladder, and then of course our little base if you've got that, and then we've got all the decals that go around this kit everywhere like that, all the decals. And that is it for the instructions, and that is it for my little thing. And then of course you have they show you more decals to put on here. So the decals they show on here are kind of all your standard decals, like the nose steps and all those kinds of basic ones that are common to every plane, no matter what paint job you're doing. Yeah, it doesn't matter which one you do, you're going to be using all these decals. These ones are the ones that are going to be unique. You're going to change your designation number, you're going to put your Russian symbols on there, that kind of stuff. And they have the decals that, more decals that go on your missiles also, right? And then of course, similar ones, but not quite. You got your different designation number if you're doing this particular scheme. So there you go. That is that, okay? So, normally what I do, I kind of have everything already primered and everything, but like I said, I just opened this kit today and I have not had a chance to primer anything yet. And I like to have things primed or primered before I assemble, but I think we can do the seat. We'll get the cockpit, the pilot seat assembled. So we're going to get a couple of things ready here. So we're going to find that sprue. I think I saw the sprue here. Our main sprue. So I'm guessing it's E. This would be the E sprue. I am not seeing a designation on it. Maybe right here. If I flip that over. No. I don't see the letter E anywhere on the sprue. But it's pretty obvious we've got the ejector seat right there. So let's get this off of there. Okay, and we need a couple of parts. So we need number 4, 40, 41, and 33. So here's 40 and 41. Get those off of there. And we need 4 and 33. There's 33. And now number 4. Right here. There we go. Okay. First time chat. Baraneo. Fortuna modeling. Alright, sure. So I want to make sure this came off of the sprue nice and clean. Okay. There we go. Okay. So this is actually the rear of the seat back. And it's going to go in right in here, just like that, and that's how it's going to sit. So we'll get some Tamiya extra thin, or what you might see online, TET, T-E-T. So glue this guy in, just like that. Okay, he's in. Now we have these two guys. These guys, this is number 40 and 41. They're going to go to the little notches that are on the outside of the seat here and here. So we got to get them separated. Let's do one at a time here, okay? So this guy is going to go right there, like this. So I'm going to get my thicker glue, a regular Tamiya, and just put a little dot right there. he's going to go on right there. And that's how he goes. So you'll see it goes on like that. Okay, you see there's that little notch right there. You see where it went on the other side? Those two little divots. That's where the other one's going to go in right there on the same, but it's going to go in that same orientation like that. Okay, so let's get this one separated. Okay, and a little dot of glue. And there we go. Okay, so those are on. Okay, and finally we have this piece here that goes on to, it kind of fits up in here. Okay, this guy kind of slides in kind of underneath the headrest, kind of right in here, just like that. Kind of sits like that. Okay, and so we'll do a little bit of extra thin in there. And from the back, just to make sure. And that's that. So that's your basic. That's what it should look like when you're all done with your 4 pieces. Okay? So with that, we can assemble this piece, these pieces here. So we got to get 34 and 35, put those together. Let's find those. That's these two here. Okay. Clean these up. There's one. Where'd the other one go? I think this is the center control stick. Is what this one is going to be. So we just put the two halves together. I'm going to hold them with tweezers just so that I don't get glue on my fingers. And I'll just run some extra thin around there. And call this one done. Okay? And we have these guys. We've got to do 6 and 9 together and 5 and 10 together. So it looks like our pieces along here. So we want 6 and number 9. Okay. So these are just going to go together kind of. How do these go together exactly? They show this one like this, and then this one like that, but that cannot be right. It goes like this. So although this one has the little notch in it that you see in the diagram, you've got a little hole there. There's no peg or anything to line it up. So that just goes like this. Like that. And it's not really doing anything. Actually, I have it wrong. So this guy right here, that right there, that little peg sticking off, is supposed to go into that little slot. That little slot right there. Okay? So that's how that's supposed to go. So that's going to line up like this. Like that, like so. Okay? I'll show you once I get them together. I'm going to put some glue on this one, right along that edge. Then put these together like that. And that's how it's supposed to go. That's how it goes together. That's number 6 and 9 together. Okay? And you should have them, they should be kind of parallel like that. Okay? That's how they should go together. So that's number 6 and 9. We're going to do the same with number 5 and 10. So number 5. And then number 10. Where is number 10? Number 10 is taken off of a sprue here. I'm missing number 10. Maybe that was that extra piece floating around in the box. Let's see. It doesn't look like it. So I'm missing that piece. I seem to be missing that piece. I do happen to have the bag that all of it was in. Is there a piece in the bag I missed? I don't think so. Oh, you know what? See, this is why you don't throw away the bag. Look at that. This is not a part. This is part of the sprue or something. It looks like it could be a part, but it's not. Oh, actually it looks... This actually is. This is part of landing gear or something. This is a landing gear piece. It just appears to have been broken off right here. So this, I'm going to find out later what this is actually off of, because this is a broken piece of landing gear. A busted off piece of landing gear right there, it's broken. So I'm going to have to glue that on. I'm going to put that in the box. We don't want to lose that. But yeah, this piece was sitting in the bag, all broken off on its own. So yeah, pay close attention. When you're pulling your sprues out of the bags, you never know what parts may come loose, have come loose in, you know, shipping, handling, all that stuff. You don't know. You never know. Especially these kits that come from overseas, which, you know, most kits do. So we're going to do the same thing with this one. This one happens to have 2 little dots instead of a little slot. And of course we've got 2 little holes, and that's where it's going to go in like that. So same thing. Little bit of glue on the bottom of that. Get it lined up on there. And there we go. And just like that. Okay. Just like that. Just like the last one. Okay. So now we've got two. There we go. And I'm really happy that I did not wind up throwing that plastic bag out. Okay, so these are going to glue. They're going to let that glue dry. We are going to deal with our big rectangle that's in the center of the fuselage on the top. We're going to get E25, our big rectangle. This guy here. Okay, let's get this off the sprue. And we're going to grab the upper fuselage half. Okay, so we can right off the bat, let's get rid of this. I'm going to do this Gundam style, okay? Gundam style. What I mean by that is I'm not going to trim this off right flush, okay? I'm going to trim it off a little bit proud. And I'll show you why in a minute. Okay, so that leaves me with these little stubs sticking out there. Why did I do that? I did that so that I don't stress the plastic when I cut it off. I can now file this down and have it a much easier time getting that smooth and level. I can trim it down a little bit better, so just so that I've got a little less work to do, right? But I want to make sure I don't accidentally create a little cavity. That's the whole point of this. Especially back here, because you've got this angle and the thing's sticking straight out, and so if you don't do it properly, it's just not going to look right. Okay, now we have to deal with this in here. So we got to get rid of this cross bracing that they've put in here. And we've got this great big wide piece. This is not friendly for removal. There we go. Okay. So we've got lots of bracing. They've put a couple of little things in the corners there to help guide how deep this is supposed to go. They got an arrow on the bottom to designate, see the arrow on it there? They've molded an arrow into it to designate which direction it's supposed to go. And this, in theory, that's going to fit in there perfectly. In my experience, when I built the other one, it did not fit quite perfectly. I need to get my file here. And I'm going to move my pieces over here so I don't accidentally knock them off the desk or something silly. Okay, we have to make sure our ends are perfectly smooth. Get rid of our nubs. And the file really helps to make sure you've got a nice straight line. Okay. Because the fit is quite tight. And I'm going to take a piece of sandpaper just to get rid of any sharp edge I have there. This feels like a pretty sharp edge on there. Okay. Alright, so arrow facing forward. I have to look at my walls in here. We got some nasty nubs here on the inner wall that we're going to have to clean up. Otherwise she definitely ain't going to fit. want to go light with it when you're cleaning these up, because you don't want to create a cavern. I think I might want to hit it with the file a little bit, just to make sure I've got straight lines, like this, and this, and this, and then this side. That big wide one was. Okay, I think we're ready for a test fit. We'll see here. Arrow facing forward. Let's see if she drops in. If she drops through, yeah, okay, fine. It's tight. It's not bad. It's not a terrible fit. It is pretty flush. Their little guide that they have on each corner to restrict how deep it goes. It's pretty good, but it's not the best. It's like you can really tell it's a huge panel line there, and that's what I don't like about this kind of thing. Is you can definitely tell that's a part that's been installed compared to everything else, right? And that's what I hate about that. But we can glue this in. So let's get some extra thin in there and make this its new home. Okay. And then we're not going to have to worry about this anymore. Okay. Except what I'm going to do is before I leave you guys, we're going to put a little bit of putty in there. What I like to do is use the Vallejo plastic putty. The reason I like this one is because it's water-based, so as the water dries, it shrinks a little bit, and so it allows you, it will actually retain the fact that this is a panel line. This isn't just some random, you know, blank spot on the plane. But by filling this in, it makes the panel line a lot more shallow, and therefore it should match a little better with the other panel lines on the rest of the plane. Okay, so that fills that in a little bit. And now I'm going to wipe it away. Where's my paper towel? There it is. So I'm just going to wipe with my finger. Again, it's water-based, right? So you can use water to clean this up. There we go. Okay. So like I said, that will shrink a little bit and will retain the fact that this is an actual panel line on there. Okay, you're gonna, when this is all done, you're gonna see the panel line. It's just gonna be a lot more shallow, like the rest of them on this plane, and that's the whole point of that. Okay, and so I obviously have to let this dry before I can continue on with anything. That does actually take a little bit to dry. As far as our nubs here on the back, we're going to file these down. This plastic is nice, and I'd say the plastic they use is soft enough that it doesn't take very much to file these nubs down and get them nice and flush and looking like they were never there. Like I just finished those two just like that. And yeah, get this one done too, and I'll show you again. Just this little bit. I'll change the camera back. Since I'm doing this, I'm not actually leaving out here. Just that little bit. Let's get that edge there, make this flush. Here's our final nub right there. Make sure I'm doing it at the angle, the same angle to match the rest of it. And get that flat. And our nubs are disappeared, they're gone. Just like that, and that's really nice and looks really good. Like I said, Gundam style. That's what they do when they're building Gundam kits. Professional Gundam builders. They don't trim the nubs off right flush with the part. Speaking of nubs, what the heck is that? That's an interesting nub to have that just sitting there random. So I'm going to use my knife and trim this one off because I want it flat, straight. There we go. That was an interesting one. Let's give that a little bit of a file. There we go. Okay, we still obviously have this guy here. We can't put the cockpit in with a great big cross brace running front to back. And I'm discovering the little detriment to having a super pointy front end, super pointy nose in the kit with a little bit of blemish there. I don't know if that's remnants of a nub or if this has been, you know, did they have a brace on the front of this at one point and it's broke off in shipping? It's possible. I don't know. You never know. It's always a mystery what happens during shipping. You know, I have the theory that if you mark something fragile, that means to the couriers, that means throw it harder. Anyway, so that's it. Okay, so that's it. And so, oh yeah, cheap viewers, yippee. I want to leave this now to dry. I'm gonna have to break out the primer and start priming all this stuff because I like to have everything kind of primered as before I assemble it. So because a lot of times when you get something assembled, it's now hard to get into the little nooks and crannies and get it all painted properly. So that's why I like to paint it kind of prior to everything. But yeah, gonna let that putty in here, let that cure, and then we'll get some primer done on this stuff and get it ready for more assembly next time. Speaking of next time, I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank you for the support and the comments. Speaking of comments, leave one down below there. You'll see something in the description box. You're going to see some links. I'm going to have links to my other full series that I did on the Su-57 the first time around. I'll put a link in there for that. And yeah, you can check out my Instagram, my X channel, and Twitch. You can follow me on Twitch if you feel like it. And then watch me live, and you can talk to me just like that bot did a few minutes ago. Anyway, guys, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one.